Hi, and welcome to Writer's Craft Box for August 19th, 2018. This past week, a colleague of mine asked me if I had any really great examples of sports writing. And I had to really admit that I often don't even really read the sports section of the Sunday Times, but this really inspired me to go take a look and see what's there. And of course, I found some really great writer's tools that were used to impactful moments. So we're going to take a look at a story called Back from the Dead, Parma Embraces a Soccer Renaissance. It was written by Rory Smith, and it appears on page 4 of the Sunday sports section. It's a story about how this team in Italy once was at a pinnacle of greatness, quickly fell, and then within 3 years quickly rose again. So we're going to take a look at two moments inside this piece. The first moment is going to be the hook or the lead, this introduction that really dramatizes the pride and the achievement that this soccer league in this soccer team in Parma reached. So we start with this. 8 trophies are lined up along the back wall of the Museum of Parma's Stadio Annio Tardini. Each one is polished to perfection, placed on a plinth and bathed in a soft spotlight, picking out the glint of silver and the gleam of gold. The effect is one of deep reverence and almost holy glow. So there's so many really wonderful sentence structures being used in this opening, but the first thing is that the decision that this author made to take us to one image and how that image really plays with light and seems to have its own kind of perfection, and it seems to have its own sort of internal response from the viewer of reverence, of deep respect. And rather than just simply telling us, hey, this team used to be in Serie A, one of the best houses in Italy for soccer, he really takes us to this museum's focal point, as he calls it here, its culmination and conclusion. And so he really takes us to this one place where, at least when he was visiting, he really felt this real impact of this team. So I really felt hooked into this story just because I myself have had those feelings of reverence all over the place, in churches, in libraries, and quads of colleges, and here I am being asked to resonate with this team in Italy that I, of course, did not know at all, just through that feeling that's been inspired by this image, this beautiful montage of descriptions here: polished, placed, bathed, and the light picking out the silver and the gold. It's so well done. Then I'm going to go a little farther into the article, and I'm going to highlight one particular phrase that I really liked, and that is whenever an author uses a semicolon and a little tiny bit of parallel sentence structure to show us a kind of balance of positive and negative. So here's the sentence. It comes at the end of this short paragraph, so I'll start there. When Parmalat collapsed in a bankruptcy scandal in 2003, Parma's horizons altered drastically. For a decade or so, the team passed through the hands of a succession of unsuitable or unqualified owners. Now, this is also about the team's history. Apparently, part of the way it rose to greatness was Parmalat, which I recognize the name as a brand name for shelf-stable like milk that I would buy when I lived overseas in Europe. So very, very big name brand, like kind of Coca-Cola. They, in this town, invested in this. Then they declared bankruptcy, and the soccer team fell. And then it went through a series of people who owned it, didn't really do a very good job with it. Now we get to this really great, impactful final sentence. Each one promised to lift the club from its knees. Each one succeeded only in driving it further into the dirt. So beautiful, this sentence structure. You have this parallel of the each one and also this parallel of into the knees, into the dirt, or promise to lift it from the knees, and then driving it into the dirt. And it's almost like the semicolon here acts as a kind of focal point of a seesaw, where we're sort of shown like promises, and then the promises aren't delivered. So it's a really great use of complex sentence structure, balance, and semicolon. So, of course, I shouldn't be surprised that I find really great sports writing the same way that I find really great travel writing or editorial writing or any other great writing. There's a lot to learn from this article. Thanks so much for listening, and tune in for next week's Craft Box.